Hi there again, everybody. Welcome back to Prestige Auctions. It's auction aftermath time once again, and we had a cracking sale. The sale, of course, that we're talking about was from the 26th of July, which was yesterday. I was going to do this actually last night, but it was so hot and effing in the auction room yesterday and so busy, and it was a long auction that I just didn't feel up to it in the end. So we thought, right, I'll do it first thing Sunday morning. So here we are having a look. People are outside that wall as we speak now, clearing all the stuff away from what ended up being quite a good auction. Yes, there was a few not sold yesterday. However, some of the prices were really good, some of the prices weren't so good, and it was a strange day. The room wasn't over busy, but it wasn't quiet either, and so on and so forth. So the idea of these aftermaths is not only to show you some of the highs and lows of the auction, but also to try and give you, some of you good people, tips on what to buy at auction, how to buy it, what to look out for. So ultimately you can buy a few things from the auction room and hopefully make a few quid as well, because that's what this game is all about. So let's have a look what actually happened in the auction yesterday. Well, we started off with lot number 1, which was the Eagle, and it didn't have a load of bids on the book, but I think if I remember rightly, it ended up at about 40 odd quid, something like that, which is not a bad price for something like that. Yeah, it's big, it's brass, but they're not as popular as they used to be. So scales were cheap, I thought, and then the pigeon clock at around 20 quid. Now, to me, this clock here didn't make enough money. I think it made £12, something like that. But look at the shape of it. How many do you see like that? So that in an antique centre, or even on a boot sale, or sold privately, eBay, whatever, people are going to look at that and go, oh, that's a bit different. And, sometimes different sells. As you know, there was lots of clocks in the sale yesterday. So we went through some of those. These were cheap as well, the old Triang things. But again, not over popular anymore, so that's the reason they were cheap. Mixed boxes, of course, as always, were selling okay because people are splitting them down and reselling them off, bit by bit. I thought there might have been a little bit more money around for that big shield there, because it was a little bit different. You could sort of see that on the wall of somebody's man cave or whatever. We came down here. Again, there was one or two good buyers yesterday for diecast vehicles. Some weeks they can struggle. This week they were doing fair money. Why? Because it just hit right. You had two good bidders in the room that fancied them, so the prices were going up. I bought the Martel bottle. I wanted that, and I did explain to everyone, because when you're saving up your twos and your ones and all this, it's the only one that I found that every coin will go in. The big whiskey bottles don't take £2 coins. The neck's just not wide enough. Our Dave bought this one, the Chameleon phone. When you consider one of these, don't get caught out with these guys. When the hype of this was on many years ago, these was making over £100 each online, or wherever you tried to buy them from, because they were, it was on the back of a big TV advert. And these now, they're not expensive at all. So don't look back and think, oh, they used to make loads of money, because they used to make loads of money. That doesn't mean they make money anymore. Once again, we'd had a few. We had a bit of a moan at the start of yesterday's sale where, people sort of moaning about sometimes when stuff doesn't make enough money. Well, you need to understand this. When something doesn't make enough money in the auction, it's because it's not worth much money, despite what you might think it's worth. I mean, and a great example was this there. Most people discarded them or give them to charity or whatever. They did 20 odd quid yesterday. 20 odd quid for a pair of used trainers. So it shows you that sometimes the values that people put on things are not necessarily the values that they're worth in the real world. Look at the Stormtrooper. There he was. I think he did about 100 quid in the end, £100. And Burton, who's one of our customers, actually left a message online saying it just shows you the importance of being in the room, as he'd left a good bid on it and didn't get it. And if you're in that room, you can make your decisions as you go along. We sold the box of carrots. Again, not loads of money, but they did sell. One or two of the clocks are okay. That one was quite a nice one, and I thought that was cheap, to be fair. But again, it's finding the buyers for these things. Some of the things you need to be looking out for in auction. One of these here. So pans, anything stainless steel pans, non-stick pans, and so on. get them bought, because especially when they're in quantity like that, because you're often going to get them quite cheap. And if you get them cheap, you can sell them at a good profit, because if you go into the shops or online, even on Amazon and places like that, pans are a lot of money. So people that are looking out for them may look into the second-hand market and try and get them a little bit cheaper than the massive retail prices. So we then came onto the closed, all the rugby shirts, the ice hockey shirts sold, the Lambretta coats sold. And again, I thought that was reasonably cheap. I think it was like 20 quid, was it? Again, it would have cost you more than that, a lot more than that in the shops. Royal Crown Derby was making the sort of money it should make, to be fair. And there was a few hands for this one yesterday, that little shell. Now we've got some big ones for next week. In fact, they're actually sat right behind me here. There you go. That's what you call a proper shell. That's massive. That's in next week's auction. There's 2 or 3 of those, and they're big lumps, so look out for those next week. Anyway, as we come down, we had the greyhound with the broken tail that sold, and bits and bobs in the cabinets were selling, and there were bids for stuff like this. Now these boxes are usually quite interesting, because we make these boxes up to be dealers' boxes, so people can have a rummage and have a look, but they're not buying absolutely loads of stuff, but the stuff inside it is usually quite reasonable, something that is able to be sold. We then went through sort of the boxes of coins and watches and stuff, and people were buying that one there, 232. And now these pocket watches, they're not old pocket watches, they're quite modern, but the box was there with 3 trays of pocket watches, and I think that did about 115 quid, something like that. And it didn't have much on the book, but 2 people went to war on it in the room, and of course somebody always comes out on top in the end. Various boxes of costume jewellery and bits and bobs of jewellery, bits and bobs of silver and stuff. This one here is another lesson for everybody. These used to sell. Take notice of that word, used to sell. I don't think we even sold it yesterday. They're quite hard to get rid of. These were given away, I think, by Esso and places like that back in the day, but there's no real collector's value for them anymore, or at least at the moment. As we came into the cabinet, 1 or 2 things did okay. That one there, I actually pulled that out of a box this week because I loved it. Thought it was a lovely little Stratton pin there, and with the gun, and I think did that do 30 odd quid, something like that. I know it was a nice piece. I liked it, and people see the same as well. When you came into the cabinet, well, we did something a little bit different at Prestige this week. So some auctioneers would damn me for this. Not that I'm bothered, but this is a thing. So we had all this jewellery from a dealer. Now, when the jewellery comes in from a dealer, you can guarantee that the reserves are going to be around the scrap price, somewhere around there. So when it comes to selling these things, I do it myself sometimes. You'll go, he'll start me 50, and then you try and work the bid up. That's what an auctioneer often does, tries to work the bid up, bidding against the book. But what you're not actually bidding against a bid, you're bidding against the reserve. So it'd be 55, 65, 75, until you get it to that reserve. Once you get it to that reserve, then you can let it go. I decided yesterday, do you know what, we're wasting too much time on an auction. So it's like this: here's the reserve, you're going to pay it or you're not. And ultimately, quite a few bits sold. So people already know in their minds if they're going to pay the price that people want for it. If you're not, then fair enough. But then if you're not, it's not for sale, is it? So ultimately, what's the point? So that's what we did, and that sort of speeded the jewellery cabinet up a little bit yesterday. Then we got on some of these other bits and bobs of jewellery without the reserves, and they all did around the scrap prices and things anyway. So this was quite a good lot. So most of this kind of made around what would be the scrap prices and a little bit more. One of my favourite pieces in there that actually came out of this prop that we cleared was this silver dragonfly. Really nice piece. And why? Why did I like it? Because it's different. Because it's got that. It's so different that it's going to be saleable. And that's the thing that you're looking out for. When you're looking in jewellery cabinets at various items in auction rooms, look for interesting and different. It's not always got to be the biggest, blingiest thing in the world, but it's something that, like that there, I liked that the minute it came in. Old enamel silver pendant there. But the thing is, people recognised that one in the room. They paid up for it. People were bidding. There were hands all over for it. Why? Well, because they're recognising that it's good quality. We then got on Sovereigns. Sovereigns had some reserves on them, and of course a lot of those didn't sell, but some did. And then the silver crowns as well were doing good money again yesterday. So 1 week to the next, so them silver crowns can do well or not. We've been quite lucky at Prestige. We've sort of got into a customer that's got a load of them that they've been saving over the years, and that's made them, we've got some good ones, whereas, you'll see the odd one every now and then. We're getting loads, and that's good. We've still got a few more to sell. That one there, a few hands for that. Fabric cutter. Now, to be fair, I think that was cheap, because pieces like this, little industrial pieces, can be a lot of money, so they can sell for a lot of money on the internet. So again, looking out for some things that are a little bit different, a little bit obscure, and then you're probably going to make a few pounds buying and selling in the auction room. There's another one as well that people often overlook: luggage. Now, I don't know about you, if you go and look at luggage in shops, what's it called, Matalan and stuff like that, which is probably the cheaper place, pieces of luggage are not cheap anymore. Lightweight luggage, of course, you want it light as possible so you can get more of your stuff in there and not get beyond the weights. But this stuff here, absolutely, start looking at this. People are buying this to sell online. It's a good thing to buy if you look out there, but it's something that most people would overlook and say, no, they don't even look at it twice. Record cleaning system did a few quid, and the art, I've got to say, the art really struggled yesterday. I have always said Grimsby is not very cultured when it comes to art. We've tried several art auctions in the past. They've all struggled. Odd people see the odd piece that they like, but generally speaking, when it's general art, it's very, very tricky to sell. The clocks on this side of the room did a few quid as well. They all sold, and was even selling heaters yesterday. We've been struggling for the last few weeks. Then, of course, we got onto the records, and there's a very mixed bag with records this week. Some were making 20s and 30s, others were making 4 quid a pile. So it just goes to show you there that, when it comes to records, people are specifically looking for stuff, but there is very, very good resale value in some records at the moment. DVDs, they do what they do. CDs were selling well again this week. 2 or 3 good buyers, good bidders on the book, so you can get through them quite quick, because the bidders on the book are always the highest bidders. Then we got on to sell this jewellery box. Now, initially, it struggled, and of course I mentioned how good it was, and then before you knew it, there was a few people bidding on it, but it opened up to that. Nice colours, nice different thing. Book struggled this week. The book struggled in the book sets where other weeks they've sold quite well, so they was a bit of a struggle this week. Some of the little bits and bobs here, some of the newspapers and Viz books and that, they were all selling. They weren't making loads of money, but again, good resale in some of those if you can find the right marketplace. Clocks at the end sold okay. Wall clocks are not as popular as they used to be, so be careful with that. And also, as we went through the middle of the room, the bits and bobs were selling okay. Got to the art. I think I'd gone for a break at this point. Lisa was selling the art and some of the bits and bobs that was down the centre of the room, so I really don't know what happened with those. I think that's probably a way of having a hot dog or something. Dolls and that were selling okay, and then she got onto the art in the back room. And you know what? It's quite a shame, really, because 1 or 2 of these were quite good examples. I mean, you look at that there. That's a good standard. That is a really good standard. But again, art, it's what people look at, what they see, and sometimes it's not going to sell that well. So as we went through the back room, I can't talk much about it because I wasn't in there. I don't know. I'd taken over again at this point into the back room and started selling off the tools and things, as always, selling okay. Garden bits and bobs. I made the comment about the cool box this week. I'd been to Tesco's in the week because I'd been to Alton Towers and had to buy one for 15 quid plus another 4 quid or whatever it was for the ice packs. So, and that struggled yesterday for £4. So just shows you, if you are planning things, says me, who could have bought God knows how many cool boxes in this. Just ignore that. That's Lisa's phone going off in the background. As you come down here, you've got all sorts of these sort of things, mechanical, industrial, sell quite well. Why do they sell well? Well, because they're really, really expensive. So people that are buying them brand new, are probably looking to the second-hand market a little bit to try and save a few pounds. When you come down here, we had the AdBlue. Again, this week we had to put AdBlue in a car. Cost us a few quid at the shop. In here, it was making next to nothing. It's just typical, really. I mean, if you could judge everything, you'd save yourself a lot of money going forward. All the kitchen sinks sold. And then various other bits and bobs were selling okay. Wheel trims and stuff like that are struggling these days. Not so many people have got them because most people have got alloys on the cars. Racing bike wheels, again, not many bids for those, but they did sell. There was some good money for some hose reels yesterday. People were buying those, and there was a few quid for the folding bike as well. But when you look at it, look at the condition. The condition is really good. So again, when it comes to stuff like that, people are looking how good it is, so how much they're going to pay. When you come down here, we got onto things like ironing boards, various shelving units, some more pans. Again, they sold okay. Stainless steel pans, quite good condition as well. And then we got to the front table, and the front table was busy. I've got to say there were some good bids for the front table, whether it be on stamps or records or where was the other thing that I see? That there, the Game Boy, I think that was 30 something quid, an old Game Boy unit. The ship's light did 30 quid, maybe a little bit cheap that, but it was okay. And then where was it? The one that shocked me, this one here. An old Nintendo with some games and some wires and that, found in an attic, £132. I've watched lots of resellers that do these boot sale YouTubers and that are picking these up on boot sales at 10 and 20 quid. Don't do it, guys. Don't sell your stuff under value. Come to your local auction room, get a good idea, get an idea of what it's worth and what it can make before you go and give it away at a boot sale, which is what a lot of people do. Some of the singles struggled a little bit. A few piles sold okay. Then we got onto the white goods, and there was like 30 odd quids for microwaves yesterday. Again, must be just a sign of what they're charging in the shop. 70 odd quid for the Beko fridge freezer, but that was a good quality one. And then we got on some of we had nice washers and things like that. Beko dryer was a nice condition one, a condenser one, and the Beko washer there as well. All making fair money, as they well should, because they're is in good condition. We then got on some of the Asian style furniture. There was bids, 70 odd quid I think it was for that one. And then some of these old bookcases and stuff, again, don't make a fortune. Why? Dark wood. Nobody wants it. So they're always going to struggle. They will sell, but they're never going to make much. Most of the furniture that we had in this week was nice and clean, and that always helps furniture along. And the little bridge there, that sold for a few quid. I want to say it was 30, 40 quid, something like that. But it's nice, it's different. It's not something you're going to see in the auction every week. The settee, that one there, modern, that sold. In fact, I don't think we had a huge amount of not solds in furniture this week, especially in the bigger bits. And then we got onto the last few Asian bits and bobs, and this stuff is popular. Now, I must say, this wasn't the best quality. Some of the lacquered stuff that we've had in the past has been superb quality, and it's made hundreds of pounds. These things here were not the best quality, but they looked the part. This one was a better quality piece there. That one sold okay. And then this one, that was the one that seemed to make all the money. Again, not superb quality, but the distressed look really sold it along. So there was another good piece. Plenty of bids for the mobility scooter. I think that ended up doing over £200. And as we come down here, we had coffee tables, 110 for the suite, which in the auction room is not a bad price, really. They don't make a fortune in here. And we even got down and sold the the chairs at the end. So there you go, everybody. That's what it was. That was the day at Prestige Auctions yesterday. Now, this week we've got another fantastic auction for you coming up, which we're going to be talking to you about quite often on Facebook as we do through the week. You see, my office is looking a bit of a mess. Lisa is actually just coming to help me get it all sorted out. This is my office and, of course, the YouTube studio. And we're going to try and get, because everything sort of ends up getting piled into spaces. We've got people's clearances down there and stuff, so we need to get all this sorted out. That's what we're going to do today. So we've got the podcast to film tomorrow. We're also starting another video tomorrow as well, and we are genuinely looking for people to come on the podcast. So if you think you've got something to talk about or something to say, or you just want to talk about the auction industry, buying and selling or anything like that, then do come and talk to us at Prestige Auctions. It doesn't matter where you are in the UK. We might even be able to set it up where we can do you on your computer at one end and us here. There's all sorts we can look at. Don't forget what I also said yesterday about, we said this on the live feed yesterday, if you want to see your stuff being sold in Prestige Auctions and you're not local, then just send it to us. Send it to us with a courier. Before you send it off to one of these companies that advertise on the telly saying send us all your gold and your medals and all that, send it to Prestige Auctions. We'll get it sold for you. You can watch it sell and we pay you out the following week. You're going to get more of a realistic price for it in an auction room than you are sending it to one of these companies, in my opinion. But maybe we'll test that theory one day. Maybe we'll send some stuff off to one of these companies, see what they offer, and then get it back and then sell it in the auction room, see how much difference there is. Thanks ever so much for watching, everybody. Don't forget, only 25% of you that watch these videos are subscribed to Prestige Auctions, so just hit the subscribe button at the top on YouTube. It does help out our channel grow immensely, and we had record numbers watching the live feed yesterday. Over 5,000 people tuned in. We want to keep it on the up and keep people finding out about the fantastic stuff that we do down here. Thanks ever so much, everybody. We'll see you all very soon at the auction.